Hi, Matt. How you doing?
Good, Simon. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Very well. Everybody, this is Matt from Social Blue. We've been working together on a leadership development program for about the last 3 months, I think it is. Is that about right?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
About that. It's kind of been a mixture of kind of some training, some coaching, just general talking through different problems, issues, situations. And so what we're going to try and do today is I'm going to just sort of interview Matt on sort of how it's gone over the past few months. So just ask you a few questions, dude, and you just answer honestly. Not too honestly, all right?
Yeah, no worries.
All right, so let's kick off with, so what were you worrying about before we started working together? What were sort of the issues you were concerned about our relationship, or just generally why you felt that you and I should do some work together?
The concern for me, it's my first management role. I'm a salesman, so I work in my own way. Suddenly I've got a team. Everyone on the team's different. How do I help them to be better, to work together as a team? How do I help get the best out of them for themselves without forcing them to be like me? Because I don't want a team full of people like me. That would be a disaster, really. So it's about sort of needing to understand myself and how to use my assets and work on my sort of downfalls and my weak points, so that I could be a better manager, better in my general role as a salesman, and how to build a team that was going to work together well all the time. Throughout my career, I've been on a number of different training courses and bits and pieces, and the I guess the concern was, or the worry has been, it's always sort of been classroom based. You sat in a room with 10 other people from all different backgrounds, all different challenges, and you just get given this sort of basic blueprint that doesn't always apply to what I'm doing, to my concerns, and needed quite a few specific understandings or insights into what I was doing wrong, what I was doing right, and how to improve on that. So that was sort of a bit of a concern, is I didn't know what I wanted or what I needed. So yeah, how do we do that? How do we go about that?
Okay, so what we did is actually we took a bit of time to get there, didn't we? It wasn't just off the shelf type packages. We spent some time meeting and talking together and talking about the problems to really begin focusing on what we thought the right thing would be, which was this kind of blended, kind of flexible approach actually to your development, because it wasn't like, right, these are the modules, this is the way we're going to do it. Actually, month by month, sometimes we changed how we did things to focus on what you needed right there and then. So I think that's worked quite well. So thinking about kind of when we were in that initial stage kind of talking, how did you know that you were going to want to work with me in particular? Why not another training company? What was different, do you think?
Because we've known each other for a while. I think I've always sort of liked your style and understood what you're about, and I think your style's very similar to me. Despite the shirt, I get the punk vibe. I get that sort of your style. So I think it was a really good fit in terms of what I'm trying to create and what Social Blue's about. We're not a corporate company. We're a startup. We're constantly changing. Things are developing. The office here in London is different from our other offices. So it's about us as a team, us as people, how we sort of build that relationship, and how we build something going forward that's going to suit for us, rather than something like you say off the shelf. And so I think that's why it's gelled well between yourself and I, has been your sort of adaptability to who I am, and also spending some time with the team to understand who they are and how to get the best out of them and build something that's unique and is going to work for us, rather than just taking textbook A and trying to bash each other over the head with it to get some preconceived result. It's just been about what are we trying to do? Let's build a plan to do that. And I think, and speaking with you, before we sort of dove into some proper training, met quite a few times just to discuss how things were going. And I could see that you sort of understood what I was going through, what I needed, what I was doing right, and understood my team and where we were trying to go.
I'm pleased to hear it, mate. Thanks. It's been a really, really good journey and a really good sort of working relationship so far. And you're right, I think also adding that I got to know the team a little bit, to understand sort of where they were coming from and to work with you, because it's not just them one-sided. We kind of get some view of their needs and where their journey's taking them, and then how you're going to sort of take them there. And therefore we then work with you to sort of bridge the gap, put the two together. Okay, mate. So where are we now? So how are you sort of feeling about things now? We're a few months into it. We've got a bit more work to do. We're going to continue on the journey a little bit. So how are you sort of feeling about things? What have the big wins been? What's really stood out, do you think?
I think the key is just being organisation within my own style. Before we sort of started working together, it was really stabbing around in the dark, trying to figure out what the right and wrong approach was. And there was no structure, I guess. There was no sort of plan on how I was going to deal with things. As time has gone on, it's got a lot better in terms of, all right, the situation's arisen, I sort of know how to deal with it. I have a framework to deal with it that works for me. I understand the kind of person that I'm dealing with within the team and what's going to work best for them and how I can best help them. So there's a lot more structure in terms of things aren't necessarily as surprising when they crop up. Something happens, it's like, okay, I know how to deal with this. I can move forward from this, or we've got a plan, we've got an agreement within the team on how we're going to move forward. So it's less constantly being blindsided by all these new things as a manager. As a new manager, it's more like, okay, I was expecting this, or I know how to deal with this, or we've got something in place to handle this and push us in the right direction. So we've got some guidelines on where we're all going, and it makes it easier to put everything into place rather than fighting a constant battle on what I'm going to do next.
Well, I mean, a lot of that, that's great for you to sort of say you've got that picking up for me, that sort of planning and the structure and the learning part. But of course, you're doing all of the work. So I think there's a lot there that actually what makes this work really well is that when we have our sessions and we talk through things, you put it straight into actions. And then those actions we follow up on a monthly basis to make sure you're still on track. And by doing that, you're getting the results. So I think the important part here is that not just that we're going through the learning journey and you're taking this stuff on board and using it and finding it useful, but you're reflecting on that, and now you know it works. You kind of, your toolkit of skills is just getting better and better. So it's something you won't need me. Hopefully, absolutely. So what sort of surprised you the most, do you think, over the last few months?
Well, that's a good question. I think
either about yourself or about something you've learned.
I think the biggest thing is once you start looking at things a bit more analytically and trying to understand, the baseline of what's really going on. Things aren't that different. Situations aren't that different from each other. On the face of it, it can look like a big surprise, but when you sort of break it down and understand, the different personality types in your team, your personality type in yourself, why you're reacting that way, and why the situation has arisen, things are all pretty similar. There's a way to deal with everything. So I think that's probably been the most surprising, is that nothing's that unique after a while. It's the sort of symptoms can be different, but the causes are all pretty similar.
Yeah.
And I guess the biggest thing for me has been things aren't really that bad, or things aren't that insurmountable. No problems sort of too big to deal with once you actually know what you need to do, know the kind of people that you have on your team, the personality and interactions that you've got. Once you just put things into place and have those basic agreements and just do things rather than procrastinating, nothing's really that bad. Things are actually all pretty good. It's easy to deal with. You can just move forward if you actually just do it. But the key is sort of that planning, that preparation, that forethought, and that expectation of things that could come up. Once you've done that sort of work beforehand, it's a lot easier once things crop up.
Excellent. Good man. Good man. Okay. What about then? So if we've worked together for a while now, if I was going to be working with a new client, someone new, and they were a little unsure about me or my credentials or why they should work with me, and maybe they're like sitting on the fence a bit, what would you say that could convince them to move forward and take a punt?
I think the best thing would to just be spend 20 minutes speaking to you, to sort of discuss who they are, what they're dealing with, what they're looking to get out of it, and just sort of experience your adaptability and your perception into pinpointing what's going on behind the scenes, and sort of offering that initial look. I think this is what the problem is. Maybe we should have a look at this and discuss that. And it didn't take me very long at all to sort of realise, okay, you do know what you're talking about, and you can really help me, because it's just me. A couple of times when we first met, there was a particularly stressful afternoon when I came flying in to meet you one day and sort of leaned over the table at you. Yeah. And it was almost a very calming effect when I was just sort of rambling and ranting, and this is happening and that's going on and blah 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 blah, and it was like, okay, within a minute or two, like, okay, I think this is the issue. I think this is what's happening. This is what's going on. We can deal with this. So I think the key has been just your adaptability to every time we've met, when we've started working together as well. Everyone's been different, but taking 5 minutes to have a chat through what's going on within those 5 minutes, you've got a plan on what we're going to do next and what's going to help, and it's been effective every time. So that's just your ability to sort of roll with the punches has been really important for me and my team.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I mean, it's brilliant that, one of the things I love to do is work closely with the business I'm working with, and that means getting to know it. And I think that means getting to know you, getting to know the team, actually learning about the business a bit more. So, at the moment, I feel like I kind of get Social Blue as an organisation and who you are and the team. And it's the best way to work, I think, to, not coming too cold, off the shelf type stuff doesn't really work. But it does take more time and more investment. But I think you and I are both seeing here that little bit of investment up front and ongoing makes an enormous difference. So I think it's a really good thing. Okay, bud. All right. Well, let's just a couple of other questions for you. A bit of an odd one, this one, but what sort of one common thing, so sort of a common thing that everyone does, do you think I do better than other people?
It's that as I sort of mentioned before, it's that trading needs analysis, I think, has been the key.
Okay.
Where you can sort of pass out a broad questionnaire and say, answer four of the same variation on different questions to sort of drill down on what you need and what you want and blah, blah, blah. And from that, you can build sort of an ad hoc training program still off the shelf. I think it's just been the naturalness and you sort of understanding our needs for myself and the team, and building that into something that's very bespoke on what we're going to do, so that every session that we spend is worthwhile and really effective moving forward. So I think that's the thing as I've sort of said a couple of times, has been a key point for you, is understanding myself, understanding what our needs are, really getting to the heart of what we need. Brilliant.
Thanks, mate. That's superb. Okay, well, really, I guess that's kind of where we are. That's kind of what I wanted to get from you, to really understand how it's working for you, where we're going. We've got a bit more of the journey to continue on, hopefully even more work with you guys, and we'll just keep cracking on, Matt. So just want to say thanks for the time. Really massively appreciate it, and looking forward to the next session next month.
Yeah, no, that's it. Thank you, and I think the team in their own way is thank you too. I think I mentioned to you a wee while back after doing some work together with you, one of my team members said to me, things seem to be going really a lot better for you because I can talk to you in the morning. So that sort of shows the impact it's had for myself and for the team.
I'm really pleased, mate, and it's good to see you relaxed and smiling and actually just doing it better in the role. And actually, and you know, and not only are we talking about sort of the emotive side of what we're doing, the emotional side of it, and how it's helping you, but you know, we're seeing better performance from the team. You're seeing better results from a sales perspective, and that's what we're here to do, isn't it? It's not just about the team and the individual. It's about performance. It's about, is it affecting how they're working together, and is it affecting the bottom line? And I think we're seeing some gains there. So it's fantastic.
For sure.
All right. Okay, look, Matt, thanks so much, and really appreciate it. And until the next one. Okay, dude?
All right.
Matt. Okay,
cheers.
bye.